All right, let's get into some breaking news right now. SkyCal over the 5 freeway near Burbank Boulevard. And this is the northbound 5. Police are chasing this work truck. Let's get right to Mark Glue with what he's learning. Mark, what do we know?
This is a strange one, Chris and Amy. So what you're seeing here, LAPD in pursuit of a white Chevy Silverado described as a work truck, but it looks like it might be affiliated with the city in some way because it's got what's called an aero board on the top and a lot of gear in the back that looks like it's designed for traffic control. It also has the words traffic management on the side. We're trying to determine exactly which city service this is, but LAPD said they're calling this a stolen vehicle, and it's called a straight stolen. It doesn't, they asked specifically, is this a carjacked vehicle? No, this is just described as a stolen vehicle. The LAPD air unit said they started following this stolen vehicle, allegedly stolen vehicle, on the northbound 110, transitioning to the northbound 5. It has gone all the way up from the downtown area now here into the North Burbank area. We're going to be transitioning into the Sun Valley area. LAPD Central Division, then Hollywood, then Northeast Division was behind this vehicle, lights and sirens. They attempted to pull it over. The driver did not comply. The information we have from LAPD, one driver inside this car. That's it. Described as a man wearing a black shirt with no sleeves. Nothing else about the suspect, but they believe that suspect is alone in that work truck. Now you can see there's a huge amount of gear in the back. It appears this work truck was possibly used for some kind of traffic control operation. These are the kinds of vehicles that perhaps put out cones, and they also illuminate that arrow sign that we've seen so many times on Southern California freeways, that with that flashing arrow that tells you to merge to the left or the right. It's apparently what this vehicle is used for, but right now it's considered a stolen vehicle as the LAPD air unit continues to chase it northbound along the 5. We are now entering the Sun Valley area, and Chris and Amy, this started all the way down near the 110 and the 5. Now, we did see LAPD units from Hollywood Division, lights and sirens behind this truck just a few minutes ago, but it looks like they may have gone into what's called tracking mode or surveillance mode, where the air unit is going to be tracking this alone from the air. Hopefully they'll get that driver to get out and stop.
And this driver certainly, as we see, Mark, has wide open roadway there, going only about 60 miles an hour at this point. And as you were mentioning, a lot of gear in that back. Still seems to all be standing upright in there. Not too many extreme turns. And of course, we all know that law enforcement prefers that these pursuits be on a highway as opposed to surface streets where you've got those intersections and pedestrians and everyone's going the same way here on the freeway. But certainly still a dangerous situation. This is a big truck. And, when they're on the freeway, it's very difficult to put out spike strips or do a pit maneuver. Now, of course, we've seen really just about everything on a freeway that law enforcement can do. But this time, I don't know, this is kind of a big, heavy-duty truck, Mark.
Yeah, that's right. I'm actually listening to some radio traffic now from the LAPD. They are continuing to follow this. They're coordinating with other divisions and also the CHP to try to get some units behind this vehicle. It sounds like the units from the LAPD Northeast Division have turned back around to their division. This might be taken over by LAPD units here in the Valley, as it's kind of far away from LAPD Northeast Division, which is around the Dodger Stadium area, Elysian Park area. Those units are quite far out of their normal patrol area. This also could go to the CHP at this point. They might be able to be taking this over as well because this is on the 5 freeway, and the longer it stays on the freeway, the greater the possibility that CHP may actually take this over from the LAPD. But it is the LAPD air unit that is continuing to follow this. Now, they're just going to make a decision here whether or not they want to get this driver is going to either stay on the 5 or they could possibly get on the 170 here. But the way this driver is going, pretty much in a straight line, straight up from downtown. So it's unclear right now where this driver intends to go.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to watch and follow. You've got this traffic management truck, and it appears they're driving the speed limit. But as you said, Mark, you could see one person inside there. Now, we know this pursuit started around 10 o'clock right now. They are still going northbound on the 5 in that Sun Valley area. We know it's a stolen truck, as Mark talked about, but at the same time, we're not sure who exactly is inside this. And I don't know if you guys saw, but there was something on this person's wrist, and it seemed like it was pretty big. I don't know if it was a watch or what. And it also looked like he had like a white thing around his head. But they're definitely doing a following right now. Not as close, but Amy, I think you said it best when it comes to these pursuits. The freeway, obviously a better option because you don't have to deal with as many vehicles, as many pedestrians as well.
So I'm getting a little bit of research done here at the desk about the type of truck and who actually owns this truck here. I apologize for the signal. You can see there the logo on the side. It says traffic management. And on the rear bumper, it said, had a website called trafficmanagement.com. Apparently, this is a privately owned company. This is perhaps someone who contracts with a city or another agency to provide traffic control services. So this may not actually be a publicly owned work truck, something that you would say from LADOT or street services. This is a company actually called Traffic Management. I was just looking at their website, and they offer a wide variety of different kinds of services, including one of which is traffic control, equipment rentals, engineering, and permitting, things of that nature. So this don't know exactly where it was stolen out of specifically. We know it was somewhere in Hollywood. But you can see that driver there, as you had mentioned. It does appear to have something on his wrist. I can't tell what that is. It does look like there's something like a large strap on his wrist. It also looks like he's wearing some kind of a helmet. Does it look like he's wearing a helmet?
Beanie.
Or something of that. It looks like there's some sort of a strap as well. But again, described as simply a man with wearing a dark-colored sleeveless shirt. And they believe he is alone in that vehicle. No information about any weapons. But again, this truck described as a stolen vehicle, not a carjacked vehicle. What LAPD described as called a straight stolen, which means it was just taken as it was parked. There was no violence used in some sort of attempt to take it from an active driver. But a huge load of traffic control equipment in the back there. You can see it looks like it's ready for work. And of course, it's got that high-profile arrow board on the top, which would be illuminated to tell drivers to go change a different lane if they needed to, if they say close the lane on the freeway. So really a strange pursuit. I don't think we've seen a pursuit with a work truck of this nature in quite some time, or if ever. But it continues to head northbound now. We're getting into the city of San Fernando, then into Sylmar. A couple of freeway choices that they could make here. The 118 goes right through here, and there's also a chance to get on the 405. But right now, this driver seems to be dead set on a course to the north. That'll take him to Santa Clarita if he stays on this course.
Yes, and not a lot of traffic on this 5 right now, which might be why he's sticking on this roadway, because as we all know, Thursdays can be a tough traffic day. Really doesn't matter what time of day, but right now the 5 is looking pretty open, and certainly that makes it a little less dangerous because you don't have as many people there, but you just don't know how desperate this person is to get away.
It seems so empty, though.
Yes,
There's not a lot of cars
really
at all.
a lot of empty lanes there. And, you know, the person going the speed limit for the most part now, although he was up around the 80s just a moment ago, so getting back down into the regular speeds in that fast lane and really not having to maneuver around any traffic. As we get a wider look, SkyCal giving us a wider view of the 5 there. And surprisingly, Mark, I have to say it's pretty open for 10/18 on a Thursday.
Yeah, it is pretty open. There's not a lot of traffic here. I'm looking on the traffic maps. The 5 looks pretty good right now. Not a lot of radio traffic also from the watch commander about getting CHP involved in this either. This driver staying pretty straight and narrow here, not making a lot of wild moves, traveling at about the speed of traffic on the freeway, 73, 74 miles an hour. That's pretty common for the northbound 5 this time of day here as we transition into the Sylmar area. They're going to go through the Newhall Pass if they stay on this course. But again, we're trying to get some more information from the LAPD about exactly where this was taken in the Hollywood area or when it was taken. I did hear that it was reported stolen out of Hollywood, described as a white Chevy Silverado work truck with that arrow board on it. We've also reached out to the company, Traffic Management. We've got a request out to talk to them about the nature of this stolen vehicle, where it was taken, or if they have any information about it. So far, we have not gotten any answers from them, but we're trying on that. But right now, again, no lights and sirens behind this work truck stolen out of the Hollywood area. The air unit overhead tracking it. It is relaying direction of travel back to the watch commander. Overhead tracking it. It is relaying direction of travel back to the watch commander. And they are saying that they do want to stay with this vehicle here. The LAPD airship says they're going to follow this vehicle. It's going to transition into LA County Sheriff's territory if it heads up into the Santa Clarita area, and it's possible that they may take this over. Santa Clarita Sheriffs, they're informing the watch commander up there about this. But right now, yeah, no lights and sirens behind it, just following. Hopefully, the idea here is to give this driver some time to cool off a little bit, perhaps back out, and then surrendered. Now that right there is an LAPD
How
unit
close
from
are they?
Hollywood
Oh, okay.
Division.
Yeah.
The 06 on that vehicle indicates that they're from Hollywood Division. So they're quite far from their normal patrol area, but that looked like lights and sirens now, again, behind this allegedly stolen white work truck. So it looks like we're in pursuit again.
We definitely are in pursuit, and we know this started around 9:25. Apparently, if you're just watching this, you're watching CBS LA on Channel 9. It started around 9:25. It's a white Chevy Silverado. You can see it says traffic management on it. It is a pursuit. Started out as the following. This all started in the Hollywood Hills area, Hollywood, Los Feliz, and Western and Frank, Mark. That's the area. And we do know about this company. Basically, they do road work, they do construction support, event traffic control, lane closure, safety setup as well. We don't know much about this person. We know there's one person inside, and we've been calling it a following for most of the morning because we haven't seen, any police vehicles behind them. But right now, with just in the last few minutes, we see LAPD. Was that LAPD right behind them?
It is LAPD, and we've reached out to the CHP. They said, we have not been requested yet to come into this, so LAPD wants to handle this all on their own. I am listening. This is just sort of an inside thing. They've moved the channel that they're speaking on from Northeast and Hollywood Division to a city TAC channel, which is a little strange. We don't usually hear that here at the assignment desk, to move a pursuit over to something called City TAC 3, which is a little rare. I'm not sure why they did it in this particular case. I don't know if they think that this is going to go into an area far outside of LAPD's jurisdiction, but I have moved over and I am listening to the radio traffic there. The LAPD air unit calling out the direction and speed of this vehicle to the LAPD Hollywood Division unit that's right behind it. There was a request to have what's called a pursuit package. That's the number of officers and vehicles designated to be in this pursuit. I believe they said there was 3 in the pursuit package, so there may be 2 more patrol units either behind that one in the lead, or perhaps they're coming up from the Hollywood Division. But yeah, we are now on the. Did we transition to? No, we are still northbound going through the Newhall Pass. Yeah. So we are going to have a chance here. This driver can either go on the 14, which would take him over to the northeast into the Lancaster Palmdale area, or stay on the 5, which would take them through the western edge of Santa Clarita and then into the Grapevine.
But you have to wonder, we know that this is a private company. It looks like a city type of truck, but this is a private company, and you have to wonder if they've got tracking devices on this truck. So many companies do use tracking devices on their vehicles to kind of keep an eye on employees and see where they're at. And of course, in a situation like this, when your vehicle's been stolen, they could track that. And we are watching as this driver has now made the switch over to the 14, as you were talking about, headed now towards the Palmdale-Lancaster area, Mark, which, the stretch of roadway is still wide open at this point.
Yeah, you're exactly right about GPS. Virtually every single company in Southern California that operates any kind of fleet of vehicles has a fleet management system. They're extremely common these days with just how cheap and available GPS tracking systems are, both on your phone and in vehicles. It is no doubt that a company that operates multiple vehicles like this would very likely have some kind of a GPS tracking system on that vehicle, not just for safety, but just for management of knowing where their fleet is at any time if they have to do a bunch of jobs around the city. So you're likely correct that there's very low chance that this driver would be able to escape detection here by trying to elude police if there is a GPS tracker on this vehicle, which there likely is, being that it has extra aftermarket parts on it that increase the value of it, certainly the aero board and anything else on it. So this is a much more valuable work truck than just your standard Chevy Silverado. We are continuing now here, let's see, on the 14. We are going up the 14. So we're going to pass through the eastern side of Santa Clarita, pass through Canyon Country, Sand Canyon, up into the Acton area. LAPD still behind. Same with the air unit overhead. They have been following this entire time. And you can see right there, LAPD definitely behind, just a couple of car lengths. This is not a following. This is definitely an active pursuit.
Yeah, it's interesting. It just shows how close things really are. But when it comes to traffic, you're slowly moving. But this vehicle, I mean, let's say at 9:25, if he left the Hollywood area, now he's already in the Newhall. He's making pretty good time. But yes, you've got the police right behind you. And, we are learning that this was a stolen vehicle, not an actual carjacking. So if there was construction in that Hollywood Los Feliz area, oftentimes the workers are outside doing their job. Yep. Someone can pop in, jump in the car, and jump out. So hopefully no one was hurt while this person did take this vehicle. But is that still LAPD?
That actually might be Hollywood. That could be CHP. That's not LAPD. That could be the sheriff's.
Okay.
But yeah, that definitely doesn't look like an LAPD unit anymore. That is a different logo on the side. I didn't get a good enough look here on my monitor.
It looked like CHP maybe.
It could be the CHP. You can see there's that pursuit package that I was talking about.
Oh, there's yeah.
Yeah, that's the LAPD, and there's that pursuit package. And you see it says 037 in big numbers on the top. That's the shop number. That's the that happens to be a designation for the vehicle. And then the 06 on the bottom indicates that it came all the way up from Hollywood Division. So those officers are quite far out of their normal patrol area, but we are continuing on the northbound 14 here, where the question that I know that a couple people have asked is, would this be a situation where you could use a pit maneuver on a vehicle like
really
this?
Fast.
Well, first of all, the speeds right now are far too high. We don't. No law enforcement agency would probably feel confident doing a pit maneuver over 70 miles an hour. They're looking for something around 30 to 40 miles an hour. And then there's the added concern about all of the stuff that's in the bed. During a pit maneuver, those things could become projectiles, and that's dangerous for both the suspect, for law enforcement, and certainly any civilians. So I think that any law enforcement agency that thinks about doing a pit maneuver here would have to balance that against all of the dangers of a vehicle like this. The center of gravity is a little different. There's a lot of stuff in the back. So this may be something that they're hoping that they might use spike strips for, or perhaps they're just hoping for the best outcome, which the driver just gives up.
Exactly, and hopefully they are able to, track this vehicle, as we were talking about, with some type of GPS. But, certainly they want to stop this person. We don't know a lot about this person. We did see what seemed a little unusual, some type of wristband, and also what appeared to almost be like a helmet or a beanie. But, we're seeing a little bit more aggressive driving speeds, got up to about 90 miles an hour at one point, and a little more lane changing, Mark, which, when they stay in one lane, staying at a consistent speed, it's a little less concerning than when they start doing these aggressive lane changes, picking up the speed, certainly adding more danger and risk to this pursuit.
Yeah, okay, so Amy, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information. That is a CHP unit behind. They have now confirmed to us here at the desk they are now the lead agency. They are chasing. What's interesting right now is we're getting information from the CHP. I hear it on the scanner. When LAPD or one agency hands a pursuit over to another, they usually give a complete crime broadcast, which is a complete rundown of what happened so that the new agency that's taking over has a good idea of what they're dealing with here. And it sounds like I'm listening right now to that crime broadcast. It sounds like perhaps the person that was supposed to have this vehicle, the employee, may have left the keys in the vehicle. It's possible, and that's how this car was stolen. They also say that there is no information about a weapon in the vehicle, which is good news here. I'm getting a little bit more information. Let me jump back on with you in just a second while I listen to this.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And this, Amy, so it was, 9:25 when it started, Western and Frank. So, I mean, you even see here in Studio City with these workers, they're outside working, how easy it would be to just jump in the car and go for no reason.
Exactly.
But,
yeah, especially if they're putting out cones or, they're constantly moving. They leave the car, maybe even running, jump out, put something down, jump back in. And so that's a lot of stopping and starting and turning off the engine. So I would imagine it's almost normal operating for them to just jump out and do what they're doing and then jump right back in. And unfortunately, somebody jumped in and took off.
I mean, definitely. So this is a private company. We learned traffic management, but it just goes to show, while watching him, he's not really going too fast. I mean, there's been times where he's going to speeds up to 90 miles per hour, but his driving isn't as erratic as we've seen with other people who are severely under the influence or under some sort of distress. But, when you've got an open road, you've got cars behind you, you just keep going. But it's got to make you wonder, why steal this truck? It's so obvious what this truck is. And I think you said it best. A lot of these companies do have GPS on their vehicles because they want to know where their employees are at all time. But in this case, we're the suspect, the person who stole the car. And I know Mark was talking about doing a pit maneuver. Speeds are way too high on this freeway to do that pit maneuver right now, because let's say they were to do one, just the loss of control and all of those items in the back going flying, and I don't think they want to risk someone getting hurt.
No, definitely not. And this is certainly, we're looking again at the person who is behind the wheel. They seem to have some type of it almost looks like a helmet or some kind of beanie. It almost looks like a knit beanie, and they were saying it was a man. I don't believe it's a woman, but you know,
You
might
never
be a
know.
little early to say if that was in fact. I was looking at the hands and of that driver, and it could be a man, but also could be a woman there driving this truck. But you know, this is a large truck with a lot of power, and if this driver does in fact hit someone, it could be very dangerous in such a large size vehicle. And as you were talking about, Chris, all the items in the back that could become projectiles flying out of that truck. So certainly a dangerous situation, as all pursuits are, but this one could be a little more dangerous with the size of the truck and all the things that are in the back, Mark.
Yeah, there's just so many things in the bed of that truck, and they all look kind of loose back there. I mean, they're slightly, they're probably tied down, but they could fly out if this vehicle rolled or did anything like that. Okay, got some new information. One of my colleagues at the assignment desk in the newsroom did speak to a representative from that company that owns this truck, trafficmanagement.com. They say they are aware of this pursuit. They realize one of their company vehicles is involved. All they can say right now is that it was stolen, that the employee that was in possession of that vehicle is okay. So they're fine. They don't have any other details. We're trying to get some more information from them, but the employee that had possession of it is fine. So there's no injuries there, but they are working with law enforcement to provide as much information as possible about that vehicle and anything that they know about the suspect, but it's not a lot. Again, CHP, now the lead agency here, they're simply describing that man as an adult, as you said, with a black T-shirt and no sleeves on that T-shirt, but CHP now the lead agency. You can see him right behind as they continue northbound on the 14. We're now passing through the Acton area on our way up into the Lancaster-Palmdale area.
And so often when we see these pursuits and they're on surface streets, they're going in an area that they're very familiar with, trying to perhaps get home, get to someone that could help them. But in a situation like this, it might just be an open roadway, that they are taking advantage of the wide open stretch of roadway. No real traffic that we've seen on the 5 so far, and now on the 14, still wide open roadway at 10:30 on a Thursday morning. But we are watching as the CHP is certainly keeping a close, proximity on this truck. Oftentimes they'll give them a little bit more berth so that they'll slow down. But because this person hasn't been going so fast, there's really been no need for them to back off once they in fact did start this as a pursuit and not a following.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are learning that this is a woman, this suspect that is driving in this work truck. And Mark, a lot of people are wondering, a lot of friends and family have been talking about this grappler that was used in Riverside County a few weeks ago.
Yep.
If they get close enough, wouldn't this be a perfect opportunity? But talk about CHP and the agency and what their policy is when it comes to those grapplers.
You know what? I was actually just looking to see if the CHP did have a grappler on that vehicle. We know that certainly they're using it in the IE. I wasn't able to get a good look as to whether or not the CHP would be using the grappler here. It's a very specific device. There has to be a very specific set of circumstances that line up in order to use the grappler. So I don't know if we're going to see them use it here. The driver certainly has to be trained. The officer has to be trained. And obviously the equipment has to be on that vehicle. So I don't know if that CHP unit in the lead has a grappler installed or not. I know Sky Cow was looking at it and I couldn't tell off the top of my head. I am doing some research to see if they have that here. But it's possible that they could use it in a situation like this. Certainly if there are not other cars on the freeway, that certainly opens up the possibility that that could be used. But I think in this particular case, they're hoping they don't want to damage this company vehicle, or they want to keep that to a minimum. Of course, that's always a primary concern. Of course, no injuries either to law enforcement or the suspect or civilians. But again, to your point, it sounds like the gender of the driver may be in question here. CHP very clearly did describe that as a male adult, but now we're hearing some information that it possibly may be a woman, which is the case if this person is wearing some kind of a helmet or a hat or may have short hair. It may be difficult to make that determination based on the speeds. They can't really see through the back window of that vehicle, of that truck, and if no one has been up alongside, it may be difficult to tell what exactly a good description of that driver.
Yeah, and we're just watching as this pursuit is now going on for more than an hour. It did begin as a following around 9:25, but now certainly a pursuit, and we're watching oftentimes as this person's going uphill, they are picking up speed. and certainly making it a little harder or difficult to even consider a pit maneuver or putting out any spike strips. And as far as those grapplers, this seems like it would be a little more difficult because you have to get so far underneath the back of that truck to get to those tires. It would have to be really
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous and very tough to do. I mean, from what I understand, they have to do a lot of training to get that maneuver really down pat so that they can do it. And on a roadway like this, that truck's going to lose control. And with all those items in the back, as we were talking about a little earlier, they become projectiles and will go flying.
It just blows my mind that there's no traffic. I mean, obviously the timing, most of the people came, into the city for work and whatnot, but there's not been one stop. I mean, there's been a few cars that they've passed here and there, but for the most part, this person is just cruising and making really good time. And, it makes you wonder, why would somebody choose to take this truck, a construction truck, and just take off and not stop? And there could be that fear, there could be some sort of mental illness. They could be under the influence. Those are all still unknowns right now.
Oftentimes just an opportunity.
Yeah.
A car left open. We're getting a closer look at that driver. They have something in their left hand, one hand on the wheel. It looks like they're eating or drinking. Drinking a little or
What?
eating. Oh, smoking.
it's a
vaping.
vape.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, a lot of times when we watch these pursuits, Mark, the person seems very agitated. They're moving around a lot. But this person seems to just, one hand on the wheel, the other one with their vaping device and, just kind of cruising on a Thursday morning.
Yeah, that CHP now says one of their units got a pretty good look at the driver and described it as a woman wearing some kind of a hat or a helmet, also with blonde hair. This woman apparently has blonde hair, but again, you saw right there that it appeared that she was vaping in there. That was like a vape pen. It looked to me like she was taking a bite of something, but it looked like after we saw that smoke, there's a vape pen. Now, the other thing that I want to say is that CHP is getting units into position for spike strip action.
Okay.
Up ahead, they believe that they can close off some of the on-ramps and that there are so few people on the 14 today, they may attempt a spike strip on the freeway coming up.
They're absolutely,
That this of all the freeways in Southern California to possibly do this at this time, the 14 is one of those likely candidates because as we get further and further into the Lancaster-Palmdale area, certainly going northbound, we know the 14 freeway does not usually have a lot of commuter traffic going northbound at this time of the morning. People going into the Lancaster-Palmdale area from the Santa Clarita area. So this is where they may attempt a spike strip operation. Very brave for an officer to be able to do that on a freeway. These are freeway speeds. And that's that type of a work truck does not stop on a dime. But CHP, they are trained to do this, and they may engage in some kind of spike strip action here coming up. It's unclear if they can get their officers in a position or if those circumstances warrant. But they do want to bring this pursuit to an end. The longer it goes, the more concerned they are. So they're going to use every tool in their toolkit to make that happen.
Yeah, and we have seen them use spike strips in the past, Mark, but oftentimes it's when they can get it on that one lane that vehicle is stuck in. And this time around, I mean, they'd have to have spike strips across all of the lanes to really make sure that this person is going to go over it because they could easily change lanes because there's no one else out there.
That's exactly right. And a real strong swerve to the left or the right at these speeds could roll that work truck. And if that driver sees those spike strips, they may try and attempt that. So there are a lot of things to balance here what law enforcement has to keep in mind when they try and make a move like that with spike strips. I know what you're referring to when we had that very high-profile spike of that vehicle that was in the HOV lane, and it was really locked into that lane when I believe it was CHP, it could have been LAPD, it was a couple of weeks ago when they did that. That was a very smart tactical decision on the part of the officers because they knew that driver would not be able to swerve because they were locked in that HOV lane. That is not the case today, as this driver has the entire 14 northbound at their disposal to avoid a spike strip. They're only about 2 or 3 lanes wide at max. So that could, I don't know if they're going to be able to cover the entire freeway, nor would they want to, I think, in a case like this.
Yeah, we're looking closer. It almost looks like some type of beanie, maybe sunglasses
like
on top, and then like little white tassels along the side. And we're looking more at that band around their wrist. It looks like some kind of light blue.
It's enormous. It is an enormous
like
wrist.
Like a kid's toy band
I can't tell. I mean, at first I thought it would be like a smartwatch, but it's the size of someone's fist. It's enormous. I can't tell exactly what that is. there. It's far too large to be. It's almost like a diving watch, something that a scuba diver would wear, and it seems to be light blue. Strange. Don't have any sort of insight as to what's going on with the attire that this person is wearing. But you can see again now we're still going about freeway speeds, 70, 80 miles an hour. Northbound 14, we are now going to be crossing into the Antelope Valley here. This is going to be LA County Sheriff's Lancaster Palmdale Station area, but CHP is the lead agency, and there is still a pursuit package from the LAPD, at least the last time we checked, behind this of about 3 or 4 vehicles from the Hollywood division, which is where this vehicle was originally stolen. That's where it was, the stolen vehicle report was filed. That's where this car was taken, truck was taken. Now you can see those units there behind, and there's another work truck right in front there. This is a completely different work truck. This is a concrete and construction truck, just happens to be a civilian on the road. That's the truck, of course, there that we have been chasing for the better part of an hour now here.
Yes, you said the start in Hollywood is around 9:25. It looks like the crews are probably just getting the day started because all the items are still inside or in the back of that truck bed right there. But I mean, right now it's what, 10:41. They're in the 14 northbound headed towards Palmdale, Lancaster. This is hard, and I think, Amy, you said it best. There's what, a few lanes there right now. So when it comes to spike strips, you got to make sure that, this person is staying in the same lane. But from what we've seen so far, they have stayed in this lane for the most part because there hasn't been any traffic to really deal with, which is a good thing. But I mean, it's like the game of chess. They got to be a few steps ahead of this woman to make sure that they get what they need to get done, or else this person's going to keep going. And then you got to wonder how much gas,
Exactly.
did the crew get gas this morning? Who knows? You mentioned the GPS. That's also huge. But, they're also tracking from the sky. So this person's not going to get it far. You just got to hope that they don't hurt themselves or anyone else, especially.
Exactly. And I mean, the good thing is that for the most part, this driver, whether it's a man or a woman, has been for the most part going the speed limit, has not been very aggressive with those lane changes. And, seems to be, for the most part, besides not stopping for police, seems to be following the rules of the road.
I mean, if we drove by her or them, you wouldn't know if there was anything wrong.
No, exactly. I think it's just that, you've got all those cruisers behind with the lights and sirens that are alerting other drivers. So, it might be that they're slowing down, moving back a little bit. But, we continue to watch and try to get a better look. SkyCal really trying to zoom in there and get a better look at this driver. We keep looking at whatever is on their wrist, that blue item on their wrist, and whatever type of headgear this person's wearing. It looks almost like a gray type of knit or like a crocheted type of headpiece. I don't know what else to call it. Because it is rather large. Sometimes you see like those larger if someone has long dreadlocks, but I can't quite make that one out.
Yeah, it does look, to me, I thought it looked like a bicycle helmet or some sort of helmet with a strap. Unclear if that's what we're seeing. Again, SkyCal doing the best job they can to get a look at that driver. One thing that I did want to mention is that CHP was able to radio to their units down there on the ground. There is indeed a GPS tracker in this work truck. The company has communicated that to CHP, that they can track this. I just heard it again, copied, be advised, units on the ground. There is a tracker on this vehicle. So the 2 CHP units that you see behind this work truck, this allegedly stolen work truck, those are the 2 primary units in this CHP pursuit now. It's an SUV and then one of their regular patrol cars there. LAPD has dropped off quite far back now. They may have actually returned back to Hollywood Division and turned this over to CHP completely. But again, we've gone probably about 30 miles here from where this pursuit has started, down in the Hollywood area where this truck was stolen. And now we are entering in the Lancaster Palmdale area, but CHP, if this stays on the freeway, they are not very likely going to give this over to another law enforcement agency. They're going to stick with it, and they are still considering a spike strip. I just heard them say it again. They're trying to get units in position up ahead for a spike strip.
Yeah, and with that GPS on the truck, clearly they can get that truck no matter where this driver leaves it, but they may very well want to get their hands on this driver to find out who this person is and take them into custody. So they're staying close behind. Will do whatever they need to do to hopefully get this person in custody, like you mentioned, Mark, using those spike strips. But it will be a difficult maneuver, and they will have to, as you mentioned, cut off the on ramps and such
Right.
to get in position to get those spike strips. And, you really got to get far enough in advance because this person's going, 70, 80 miles an hour.
Right.
You've got to get out there, get those strips down, and then get out of the way.
Upward of 90 miles per hour we've seen, but they've stayed in that same lane, that second lane, the lane next to usually the HOV lane. No traffic still heading up that northbound. And Mark, I'm curious, how far does SkyCal go before it's out of distance in our area where we can actually, get traction of this?
Well, SkyCal carries enough aviation fuel to go for about 2 hours. Can go even further, 2.5 hours if we stay close to an airport. There is an airport up in the Lancaster, Palmdale area called Fox Field, which we could land at for fuel if we needed to, so that extends our range even further. And then there's an issue of how far can we get a live signal. SkyCal is sending these signals back live by transmitting this signal to a mountaintop. We have multiple mountaintops in Southern California, and we do have one that faces north into the Lancaster, Palmdale area, so we could hit that mountaintop. So we have been known to be able to get live signals as far away as Tehachapi and up north towards the Edwards Air Force Base. So it's pretty flat and open out there. So as long as we're able to see one of those mountaintops on the ridge line that's on the south end of the Lancaster Palmdale area, we should be okay. And SkyCal just launched maybe about an hour ago, so we should have a good 90 minutes, almost close to 2 hours if we stay near Fox Field to be able to get a live picture and carry this pursuit. Now the question is the law enforcement airship going to have that same amount of fuel? I do see, let's see, are they still with us there? I do not see a law enforcement airship overhead. The LAPD unit may have had to turn around. LAPD has a huge fleet of aircraft, but only 2 or 3 are up at any given time. That one may have had to go back. I did hear some information from CHP to indicate that there's no more law enforcement airship overhead. I did hear the second unit in the CHP pursuit package of those 2 units say, I can call this now, which that officer would say if there was no longer an air unit overhead. But there are multiple media airships overhead, including SkyCal, so I don't think anybody's going to lose sight of this driver. I have also heard the CHP communicate to the dispatcher whether or not this driver has been driving erratically. They've been asking that question, and I do believe that's going to be part of the prerequisite as to whether they deploy those spike strips.
Interesting.
If they get information that this driver is making rapid lane changes, rapid speed changes, they may hold off on those spike strips.
And just
but right
let them
now,
go?
what's that?
And just let them go?
And well, not just let them go, but find another time to use it. They don't want to deploy these spike strips in a situation where the driver has had a propensity to make these wild, rapid movements or changes, because that could be dangerous for the officer involved in deploying those spike strips. So for right now, this driver does appear to be maintaining sort of a straight and narrow path of travel at about 70 miles an hour, so they may still try and do this spike strip. It's unclear if they can get this done in time because the CHP unit has to get ahead on the 14 and find the right time and the right position, make sure there's no civilian vehicles. It's a risky, high-risk sort of operation, and they're not going to do that unless they can guarantee safe results. So for now, this may end up just being a pursuit where the CHP stays behind this work truck, hoping the driver comes to their senses and gives up in a safe manner.
Exactly, and we are watching. This is a stolen truck that was taken out of the Hollywood area around 9:25 this morning. Started at 1:10 and the 5, and it began as a following, and it was then turned into an actual pursuit when an officer then turns on their lights and sirens and really indicates to that person that they do in fact need to pull over. And we've been watching this now for more than an hour. As this person, at this point, it's unclear whether or not it is a man or a woman behind the wheel. But we have been watching as they have been pretty much following the rules of the road and really not speeding too much. A couple times they got up around 80, 90. But for the most part, they've been going right around the speed limit. And at this point, it is a little more difficult to either deploy spike strips or do a pit maneuver because of the speeds of this truck. And of course, we know that because of the size of the truck, if they were in fact to hit another car, they could do some serious damage.
Absolutely, because there's a lot in that truck bed. But, one of the things that Mark was talking about was, they have to make the decision, do they use the spike strips? Is this person driving erratic? Based on what I've seen and what you've seen, I mean, not too erratic. I mean, yes, this person did steal this truck, which, obviously is a crime, but no swerving in and out of lanes like we usually see with pursuits. But makes you wonder, is this person under the influence? Are they having some sort of mental health? Okay, now they're actually going, this is one of the first times we've seen them move lanes. So they could potentially be exiting. It looks like They're in the far right lane now, which is a big deal because they're obviously slowing down now because of the car right in front of them. Interesting. They've been in the same lane for so long.
But you don't know what they saw up ahead.
Oh, yeah, you're
Sometimes,
right.
you know, they could see a car up ahead trying to put down strips. And so they're trying to go behind another civilian car where they know that car is not going to be impacted by those spike strips.
And going so slow, 45, 50 miles per hour. Okay, now they're going back into that middle lane. But so is that black car, which is interesting. Sometimes you got civilians out there, citizens out there who like to.
Slowing down. Look at this.
I wonder if they're trying to slow
putting
them
the
down.
spike strip out. What's happening up ahead?
Oh, wow. Okay, so
and
this
that
black
might be
car.
what it is.
This is not recommended. If this is
No.
a civilian, CHP would prefer that you never attempt to do this. Do not interfere with law enforcement. A pursuit like this, even if you think that you're helping, that is certainly not something that they want. Now, if that was law enforcement, perhaps an undercover officer or a plainclothes officer, an officer off duty, that's a different situation. But they would never ask a civilian to do something like that. The best thing that you can do is to pull over to the side and let law enforcement handle this. I also have some information. It sounds like there were 2 possible attempts to do a spike strip, and both times the officers at the time said it's not safe to do it. There was an attempt at Crown Valley Road, and there was also an attempt at Santiago Road. There were officers there that were in position, and both times they said there's too many civilians on the road, or I'm not in position in time to do this safely. So that's why they did not deploy them. So they are still considering this, but the officers on the ground said, you know what, I could potentially spike a civilian. I don't want to do this, so they did not deploy.
But yeah, when you saw that civilian, what they did, I mean, it's very dangerous because if this person has a weapon, nobody knows what they have.
Exactly.
You know, that could have been life or death for them. I understand, you know, people want to help and be the hero, but like you said, law enforcement advises people stay away and, you know.
Exactly.
Stay
I just
safe.
wonder what was happening up ahead and if they did in fact see an officer up ahead, maybe stopped or going very slow, that car then tried to slow down and that truck followed and also slowed down. We're getting a little freezing there of our signal, but you're seeing a close-up of that traffic management truck.
Yeah, so that company is a private company. It's one that, you know, the city, the county, a company can rent out and use for traffic control, especially if this was taken in the Hollywood area. There's a lot of construction there, but there's also a lot of construction all over Southern California. And so this is some previous video that we're looking at when we saw them on the northbound 15. They started in Hollywood, now they're headed to the Palmdale, Lancaster area. And then we saw this. This is what appears to be a civilian trying to block the truck off. And it looks like we have a phoner with Sergeant Keene, is that correct?
We do have someone on the phone joining us from the California Highway Patrol. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us today. All right, we're losing that signal of the pursuit, and it does not appear that we have the person from the CHP on the phone yet.
So we've been following this pursuit, started at 9:25 this morning. It's 10:53 now, started in Hollywood. Now they're close, they're at the 14 northbound by Palmdale, Lancaster. And they've been cruising the whole time.
Yes, there's been very wide open roadway
Right.
there that we've been seeing. We're seeing the
And
live pictures
we got
again.
the picture back. And Amy, from what we've experienced so far and what we've seen, they haven't been driving, you know, too crazy. I mean, there's been times where we saw speeds up to 90 miles per hour, but not going in and out of lanes by any means. And, you know, just continues to drive. And we know that this truck was stolen. This was not a carjacking. So the employee's probably getting ready for work, left the keys in the car. This person jumped in and right away ended up taking off. But Mark, what's the latest that you're learning right now?
Well, I was just hearing CHP. I was going back and listening to some radio traffic. That black vehicle that we saw that slowed down directly in front, that was just a civilian. That was not law enforcement. CHP actually called that a near miss in this pursuit. So why that civilian slowed down like that, it's unclear, but they weren't harmed and they pulled over to the side. But that was not law enforcement. That was someone acting, just a civilian acting under their own volition here. So we are continuing. We apologize for that signal loss there as we were transitioning SkyCal from one mountaintop to another. We are now in the Lancaster Palmdale, and as I had mentioned, SkyCal is sending back that signal to a different mountaintop. So we should have a pretty strong signal here as we continue to follow this pursuit northbound on the 14. We're going through the Quartz Hill area. We're already north of Palmdale, going through Quartz Hill towards Lancaster. This driver, again, continuing to just sort of stay in this number 2 or number 3 lanes. at about 60, 70 miles an hour. CHP from the Lancaster Palmdale area, they've switched out a different unit now. So there's an officer that's more familiar with this area as the lead agent, as the lead driver in this pursuit here, as CHP continues to try to take this woman into custody for allegedly stealing this work truck in the Hollywood area.
It looks like we have Sergeant Keene with CHP now. Sergeant, can you hear us? Let's see if we can get that phoner, because CHP is the leading agency right now. Sergeant, could you hear us? Okay, Mark, I guess not.
Yeah, one other thing that I want to mention to you is that as far as weapons in this vehicle, the employee who was supposed to be in possession of this vehicle apparently did communicate to CHP that he or she was certainly not aware of any weapons in that vehicle. But of course, we don't know if the suspect brought any weapons into that vehicle, but there were no weapons in the vehicle at the time that it was stolen, according to the report that apparently that they made to the company made to the CHP about this stolen vehicle.
Yeah.
That's right, and we continue to watch as this stolen truck is heading up the 14, speeds right around 75 miles an hour, and they have now moved back into that fast lane, and you can see it's wide open, perhaps another opportunity to try a spike strip. You can see another, looks like another CHP vehicle on the off-ramp there, but this is a time when they might try it, but again, only if this truck is staying in that same lane will it work, because they can't put it across the entire freeway there, so it makes it more difficult.
Yeah, they stayed in that same lane for a long time, Amy, and then all of a sudden they switched. We saw that civilian try to stop them, but now they're back in that lane.
And you have to wonder if that civilian was actually trying to stop them, or if they saw something up ahead that made them feel like they needed to slow down. They don't really know who the CHP is chasing, and it's not typical that they would be chasing a truck like this. So they might have thought that the truck was involved with those officers going somewhere. So they're trying to figure out, do I pull over? Do I stop, slow down? So you never know what's in the mind of those civilians that are out there. When you see all of this commotion really coming up behind you, what do you do?
It's just so crazy. I mean, when you think of LA, you think of our area, you think of traffic, but this person for the last 2 hours has not hit any traffic. I mean, just keeps on going. But obviously, you know, they're going northbound, and a lot of people are headed into our area, into the city, to go to work or to go to school.
Yeah, but fortunately, traffic has been pretty light. All right, we're going to try again with the CHP, with the sergeant joining us by phone. Is that right, Sergeant?
Morning, Amy. Yes, Sergeant Keene.
Good morning, Sergeant Keene. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's talk a little bit more about this pursuit that we've all been watching for about an hour and a half now at this point. What can you tell us about the whole tactic idea of trying to stop this driver? I mean, are spike strips an option or a pit maneuver, or is this one of those wait and see if they finally stop?
Absolutely. There's a bunch of different techniques that we'll try to use depending on the situation. In this, we have tried to deploy a spike strip, and we're thinking about other locations that we could safely do it, as you were discussing earlier, and constantly weighing the risk versus reward of where we're at. If we're going to continue this pursuit, like you were saying, traffic conditions are light right now, which is good. We don't want traffic around. The weather is clear. Different things that play a factor of bringing this pursuit to a safe end.
And what do you know about this person, Sergeant? I mean, they don't seem to be driving too erratic. I mean, the speeds have been around 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. They're staying in the same lane. Do we know anything about the person that hopped in this vehicle and just took off?
At this time, we don't have any information. As we were discussing earlier, the LAPD is gathering more information, and so is our crime center, to see if we can possibly identify this person, if they have weapons, see if we can get a cell phone number or a radio that's in the truck to try to get a hold of them, to talk to them, to have them pull over and end this pursuit.
And when you're watching something like this, you know, with this pursuit and, you know, heading northbound into that area, you know, Palmdale, Lancaster, not a lot of traffic, does that make this pursuit more challenging, or does it make it easier? Because, I mean, it's just like a wide open road. This person just keeps on going.
Yeah, every pursuit has its different challenges. Obviously, we don't want any pursuits at all. We want the individual just to pull over and bring this to a safe conclusion. But it is ideal with no traffic, no civilians in the area or anything like that.
Yeah, certainly a wait and see here at this point. Sergeant, we're going to ask you to hold on This has been Amy Johnson along with Chris Holmstrom bringing you this pursuit for more than an hour. We're going to do a quick handoff to our colleague Jamie Yukas, who is taking it away from us, along with our breaking news desk assignment manager, Mark Liu.
All right, Amy, Mark, and Chris, thank you so much. We are going to begin CBS News at 11. Oh, you can see spike strip was tried there. We are continuing following this pursuit at this point in time, but we want to welcome you to the 11 o'clock here on CBS, both Channel 2 and Channel 9, as you're watching this work truck that has been in a pursuit now for about 90 minutes. It happened around 9:30 or so along in the Hollywood area. Now you can see in the North Antelope Valley going between 65 and 70 miles per hour. I know that assignment manager Mark Liu has been working on this throughout the morning, the entire 90-minute pursuit. And Mark, what do we know?
So the information that we've got from the LAPD was this started roughly in the 9 o'clock hour with this white Chevy Silverado work truck, and now you can see it looks like that spike strip was successful. Incredibly brave and professional work on the part of the CHP. They were able to get a hit on what looks like the driver's front tire. It looks like it is deflated there. That is going to make a significant change in the nature of this pursuit. It's unclear if the other tire on the front tire was struck as well, but that's definitely a deflated front tire there. That is exactly the result that I think CHP was hoping for. But this white Chevy Silverado work truck stolen out of the Hollywood area, reported to LAPD as stolen. An LAPD air unit spotted it. There again on your right-hand side, there was that spike strip hit that you saw just a few moments ago on the northbound 14, heading through the Lancaster Palmdale area right near the 138. The LAPD air unit picked it up on the northbound 110, northbound on the 5. LAPD lit it up, lights and sirens. Driver refused to comply, and the pursuit was on. Now we're seeing shreds come off of that front tire, Jamie.
Yeah.
The driver described first as a man wearing a dark shirt with no sleeves and some kind of headgear, it appears. Now we've learned that this is possibly a female, a woman driver with blonde hair there. We've seen her take a couple of hits off of a vape pen during this pursuit, but she has mostly been driving about freeway speed, 70, 80 miles an hour. Northbound the entire time. Now, the truck itself is very interesting. It belongs to a company called Traffic Management, and they have a website called trafficmanagement.com. It's a private company that apparently does traffic control for different entities. And what we're seeing there is a whole lot of gear associated with traffic control in the bed of this truck.
We're getting down to the rim there,
We
Mark.
are getting down to the rims. This tire is going to get very, very hot, and ultimately will probably begin to shatter under the heat and stress of driving without any rubber on those tires at 75 miles an hour. And the handling capabilities of this pickup truck are a little different than your standard Chevy Silverado because it's got that light board on top. It's called an aero board, so you illuminate that in order to tell drivers to shift lanes to the left or the right. So this is a professional work truck. It does have a GPS system in it, as most companies that do fleet management of multiple vehicles have these days. There is a GPS tracker in there, but that tire, all of the rubber is now gone on that tire, which is probably making an awful noise in the cabin. There's no way the driver wouldn't know that they are now driving on the rims. And Jamie, that rim is going to get red hot pretty soon and could again start to destruct.
Well, and you have to just start wondering what the driver is thinking at this point, because once you start getting down to this, you also have a work bed full of equipment here. If that tire, when that tire does come off, I know we've all thought it was very lucky there hasn't been that much traffic, but you have to wonder just kind of what debris will end up spilling along the roadway, what could end up, doing some damage to, it looks like the freeway is very clear right now.
Yeah, the northbound 14, there's one other car on the northbound 14, a single civilian vehicle over there. That's it. But Jamie, exactly to your point, there is a bunch of gear in the bed of that truck. If this truck rolls, those are all going to become projectiles.
Right.
That's extremely concerning. And also the fact that now this tire, we don't know about the passenger side front tire, but certainly the driver's side front tire is gone, substantially decreasing the control ability of this pickup truck. Pickup trucks in general sometimes are not that maneuverable. I mean, a Chevy Silverado, thankfully it has a lot of gear in the bed. That makes it more stable. Pickup trucks are certainly more stable when they're designed to have gear in the bed. If they don't, sometimes, if you've ever owned or driven a pickup truck, that can fishtail if there's not a lot of weight back there. But this one does appear to have a lot of weight. That's actually a good thing.
But as you pointed out, that light board can be very concerning and become a very big projectile to the officers following at
Right,
this point in time.
exactly correct. This is a non-standard vehicle, so they have to be concerned. CHP officers have to take this very carefully. Of course, the primary concern is to get this driver out and in custody safely with no injuries to law enforcement or civilians. And that spike strip did a lot of good work in trying to, get this pursuit finished. The driver, though, seems unconcerned that they are driving without a tire right now. They have not changed their speed or their driving habits here. And this truck, I should say, is substantially more difficult to control because of that lost tire.
It's just, you have to wonder why somebody would take a work vehicle like this, what led them to this point in time. As you said, they don't seem very concerned about the fact that that tire is probably going to come off at any minute. This is a work truck. They're often left, running or unattended, potentially for quick stops. So you have to wonder, kind of, again, you said this is now being reported as a potential female suspect. Was she in the area? Was there some type of, adrenaline thrill seeking happening, maybe some poor impulse control that led her kind of to this work truck to jump in? Did she need fast transportation? Did she need to get somewhere urgently? It seems so strange in some ways that this happened in the Hollywood area, and now we are in such a remote part of the viewing area. But again, as you said, Mark, this work truck, lots of equipment in the back. Officers were able to put out that spike strip, which has done a very good damage to the front left tire. That tire has still not come off at this point in time. We will be watching for that and to see how the truck responds. I do want to point out, obviously, our signal going in and out just a little bit there. You can see another. This was earlier.
This was the spike from moments ago. Yeah,
right.
This was moments ago.
This was just a few minutes ago, and what caused the damage. You can see the driver did try to get out of the way of that spike strip, but I have to say officers were pretty smart to, kind of post up behind that concrete barrier there, probably making visibility a little bit less for them to be able to throw that out. It seems like at the last moment she was able to try to get onto the shoulder there, but was unsuccessful, and then did end up puncturing that front left tire. So we should say the big picture you're seeing right now on the right-hand side of your screen, that is from earlier as that spike strip was thrown out, and you can see damaging the tire. On your left-hand side is the current picture and the pursuit as it is at this very moment. You can see in both pictures the truck has been going between about 55 and 75 miles per hour, so not incredibly fast, especially for such an open road. We've seen much faster, but again, it's a work vehicle with a lot of equipment in the back that makes the truck bed very heavy. You've got that light board on top, not terribly windy conditions. As we heard from that officer a little bit earlier, they were happy to see that the wind conditions weren't too severe, because you wonder what that would do to the light board and the truck. But we will be watching here to see what happens once this tire, eventually this tire will come off and the truck will respond to that and where they are in the roadway. Again, our signal going in and out just a little bit every once in a while, since this is a remote area.
Yeah, we are heading directly north. We are well past Lancaster, heading into the Rosamond area. If they continue on this path, they're going to head up into the Mojave area. Now, SkyCal has gained a lot of altitude. We are sending a signal back to our mountaintop on the southern end of the Lancaster-Palmdale area. We'll apologize for those drops in the signal, but we are pretty far north. SkyCal continuing along with several other airships in the area to continue to track this. But yeah, the control ability of this truck has vastly degraded because of that missing tire. I believe there may be another flat tire on the other side. We haven't been able to see that yet, but I'm hearing some radio traffic indicating that more than one tire was hit, as this was a direct hit. It looked like, as you saw that video from before when that spike strip was deployed, it looked to me like all four were struck, but it looks like the rear tires remain inflated. But certainly that driver's side tire is now on its rims. But fortunately, this freeway is extremely straight. I mean, it basically heads directly north for the better part of, say, 15 miles as it heads directly through the Antelope Valley. So this driver does not have to make a lot of turns, even gentle turns, because of just how directional the 14 freeway is in this part of the Antelope Valley.
And you have to wonder, is this something where she knows where she's going? And so she has hopped on here knowing exactly where she's going to go, knowing that there's not a lot of traffic? Or is this something that this was kind of a crime of opportunity to jump in and steal this truck, and she's just made her way here and sees that this is an open roadway and is taking advantage of that right now. It's so hard in these situations to figure out kind of what the motivation is, where they may be going. They tend to be in places that they're familiar with. But was this a moment of opportunity, seeing this open road, or is it somewhere that she's trying to get to?
Oh, we have a little bit of information, both from the LAPD and from the traffic management, the company that owns this vehicle. Two things. This was not a carjacking type of stolen vehicle. They call this a straight stolen, where this was just a vehicle that was taken without violence or forcing the driver out. And the company has spoke to us on the phone here. One of my colleagues in the assignment desk in the newsroom said that they are aware that their vehicle was taken. They are aware that it's pursued, and that the employee that this vehicle belonged to is okay. They were not injured. So this was not apparently did not involve any kind of a violent confrontation. It's unclear if the employee was near this vehicle at the time or what, but apparently there was an employee associated with this vehicle. It wasn't like taken out of a yard where there was no one around.
So you wonder if it's then a crime of opportunity that this person potentially
seems to be pointing in that direction. That this may have been the implication was that perhaps this truck was on a job, on a work site, and there may have just been, like you mentioned, this person got in and took the vehicle.
Right.
So they called this just a straight stolen, as I said, not a carjacking. But as for what the intentions of this suspect are, it's anyone's guess. This person has been on almost a direct path northbound the entire time. Again, this started in the Hollywood area. The LAPD air unit picked it up on the northbound 110, and it never stopped heading north. This pursuit has gone from the northbound 110 to the 5, now to the 14, and they are just continuing north. I mean, this is heading pretty far north in terms of pursuits that we head to. I mean, we have gone further. I believe a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago, we had a pursuit go all the way to Tehachapi, but we are passing the Rosamond area now.
Wow.
So we are entering really the northern boundaries of where pursuits usually go before something happens. Either this goes to a different agency, but CHP continues to follow this. They are the lead agency here. Again, great work, very brave and professional work by that officer that deployed those spike strips about 10 miles back, I think it was. They did get a good spike on that front driver's side tire, which is gone. It is on the rims.
And I'm surprised with her going between 55 and 75 miles per hour that this tire has not come off yet. As you said, they get very, very hot and it just cracks and usually breaks by this point in time. We've been watching her for several miles now, almost about 15 minutes or so since that stop stick was deployed, spike strip. It happened just around 11 o'clock. As you said, the pursuit started a little after the 9 o'clock hour in the Hollywood area, and now is here, as you said, in such a northern part of our viewing area right now. And that tire is still holding on about 15 minutes after it was struck by that spike stick. And you can see there are CHP officers still in pursuit, still behind. Of course, you can see the choppers there as well. SkyCal following this vehicle. The vehicle now went up to about 85 miles per hour, which is dangerous with the situation with the tire. They had been going between 55 and 65 since the tire had been hit, but now trying to go a little bit above 80, now back down to about 63. You can see all that equipment in the back there. It is interesting to me, this, as Mark has been saying, that this was not a carjacking. So it appears at this point in time that this could be a crime of opportunity for a woman who we have seen using a vape pen. That can indicate that maybe there is some drug use occurring as well. That could be playing into some type of paranoia or other mental health issues taking place. We don't know where the driver is at in terms of their mental health, or maybe what's driving them to continue. Oh, it looks like something just came off the car.
This is why I believe there was a second spike strip. A second tire that was struck, because that piece of tire tread came from the passenger side or the right side of the pickup. We have just, because of the way SkyCal is positioned, it's kind of crowded airspace above this. We haven't been able to see the other side, but that would indicate that there is a tire that is shredding on the opposite side of this pickup than what we are looking at here. So I did hear some radio traffic indicating that there may have been a second tire that was hit in that one and only spike strip that we saw. I'm also hearing radio traffic they may try another spike up ahead.
Okay, well, it would make sense, right, Mark? Because we saw the car tried to maneuver to the left, but it still ended up hitting that driver's side tire. So you would think that hitting that driver's side tire, that the spike strip would have impacted the other tires on that vehicle. We did see some debris just come off. It does appear to be from the passenger side, but we have not gotten a good vantage point to see if that tire is in fact the one that came off, and you can see down to very minimal tread on the driver's side tire right now. Still waiting to see what happens with that tire, and then potentially what happens with the truck itself. There is some concerning parts. You can see the vehicle again trying to speed up a little bit there. We're about at 60 miles per hour, but that light board, that really concerns me, thinking about when this tire comes off and the distribution of weight. You can see the vehicle, this is what I'm fearful of, could potentially flip.
Yeah, even minor course corrections on the part of the driver is causing that truck to sway precariously. And this is an indication that certainly there is more than one tire that is deflated. And it looks like
now look at the back tire.
Yeah, the back tire may be deflated as well. It looks like we're slowing down a lot. This is about as slow, the very last bit
there you go.
of tire came off of the driver's side there now. So it is completely metal now. So now, hopefully, Jamie, we are seeing this come to an end. This is the first time we have seen this driver stop for any reason in this entire pursuit now, except for I should say, the driver did slow down when a civilian got in front of that pickup truck a short time ago, back down.
The driver appears to be waving or doing something out of the passenger side window there. I can't really see. Is there something?
Looks like hands out. That's a really good sign. I think I see both hands out, which is exactly what, or one hand out. Looks like one hand out right now. I believe possibly, maybe two. I can't tell because it's covered by the driver's side mirror. No, that looks like two hands out now, which is what CHP would be commanding this person to do. Put their hands out. Hopefully also toss the keys out. Look at that. It was, both tires. Maybe even all four tires.
I think it's all four, to be honest with you. I think the back tires were just not deflating as quickly as the front tires were. We've gotten so many descriptions of the suspect. As you pointed out earlier, that LAPD had been trying to gather more information on the person in the truck. Originally, it was said that it was a man in a dark shirt, then reported as a female with blonde hair. Based on skin tone of the arms outside the truck, we don't know anything other than that, but potentially, a man or woman with dark colored skin. But there hasn't been a lot else reported. We'll have to see here. It looks like the driver's side door is open.
The driver's side door is open. Again, this is a good sign. We want to see compliance on the part. Okay, so it does appear to be someone wearing a beanie.
Yes.
And yeah, it does appear to be a
dress.
woman. Okay, yes,
yep.
It's a person in a dress. Wearing a beanie and some sort of a white, perhaps I don't know if that's a strap of some kind.
It looks like it may be a face mask, Mark.
It could be a face mask. Yes, it could be a face mask. So this person complying, backing up. This is what we want to see at the end of this pursuit here. The driver complying, wearing something on the left wrist also. We had been, Chris and Amy and I had been talking about it. If it's a watch, it's a very large watch that you can see there.
Could also be a bandana or bracelet.
Something like that, yes, indeed. But again, no information that this suspect had any weapons, but the great news is complying exactly with CHP orders to face away, walk behind, hands up, and now we're going to see CHP take this driver into custody.
It's interesting. We often see male drivers. I think that's why, it was reported initially as a man in a dark shirt. We now see that she's wearing a dark colored dress, and it appears to be a woman, but with the beanie on. We haven't seen, they thought maybe she had blonde hair. That doesn't appear to be the case at this point in time. They are looking to handcuff her now. They're keeping her one hand up, as you see there, trying to handcuff her.
Yeah, there was... I think that there was just probably a little bit of a miscommunication between the officer and the suspect there. It's probably very noisy. It looks a little windy. There are multiple airships overhead, but now that suspect in custody, a code for at least for the driver being taken into custody. The next step, CHP is going to approach that work truck and make sure there is no one else inside. Now, we have not had any information that there was a second person in the vehicle, but CHP does not take chances. You can see them. They're going to approach, guns drawn. There's just the cab right there. They're going to take a look in there, and hopefully we should see officers with that. There was that officer held up four fingers. That's code for pursuit is over. Suspect in custody.
Okay, well, that's great news. I'm glad no one was hurt. This could have been so much worse, as we've been reporting. It was not a carjacking. It sounds like the driver of this vehicle, the company has said, is okay. Scary situation, I'm sure, nonetheless, psychologically, but physically okay. The driver does not appear to be hurt in any way and is in custody. Officers now going to try to get this vehicle to the side of the road. We're lucky that the car did not flip. There no one else on the roadway. We were very concerned that the car could have flipped, that any of that equipment in the back or on top could have become projectiles. The situation could have been much, much worse. But luckily, it looks as if we are coming to a close. I'm sure they're going to try to get everybody off the roadway now to kind of reopen things back up and get traffic flowing at this point in time. Mark, are you hearing anything else?
No, just that the suspect is in custody, doesn't appear to be injured at all, and that they're going to need a flatbed for this pickup because it's not driving anywhere, not for a while, until it gets probably 4 new tires. But none of the gear was damaged in the truck, and this is pretty far north. I mean, we are north of something called the Rosamond Curve, which is a part where a part of the 14 freeway turns slightly to the right. This is pretty far north, but the suspect's coming all the way back probably to LAPD Hollywood Division because that's where the crime was committed.